Let me take a breath. Let me ask God to guide my words. I want you to understand this is not a subject that I am an expert in any way. I am speaking solely from my experiences with myself and other people. And I want to talk to you today about mental illness. Mental illness, managing, identifying, recognizing mental illness. And, my older daughter helps me to understand when it comes to that label in general, we immediately reject it, especially African American people. We think it means like, oh, you're crazy, and it's a state of mind that you can't return from. And I've learned over the years that it's just not true. We can have episodes. Like I always share that I used to be depressed when I was much younger after witnessing the murder of my grandmother, the primary parent that raised me. After the post-traumatic stress of that situation. Now, I didn't have labels for it then. I didn't know what it was, and I actually did label myself as crazy. My behavior, I was afraid of guns. I couldn't pull up parallel on the side of a car. I couldn't be alone too long. You couldn't raise your voice at me. I didn't know what love looked like, and I was alone in the world because, my parents were addicts. My father died when I was 10, and my mother was an addict. So after my grandmother's murder, my sister was gone off to San Diego State University, or UC San Diego, and I was just alone. And I got married and, trying to navigate and deal with unhealed, untreated trauma, live a life, be a wife way too young, and raise a baby. And just so when certain episodes of depression or explosive episodes, what I just attribute to, oh, I have a bad temper, but no, when we have unhealed wounds, or when we have just things in our lives that we haven't figured out how to deal with effectively, heal from, then it can trigger mental illness, and it doesn't have to be a death sentence. It can trigger just personalities, traits that come out that you didn't even know you had. You didn't even know you could scream and holler and act a fool until something triggers something, you understand, inside of you that breaks open those wounds and those holes. And, this subject is a little sensitive, so I'm going to try not to be emotional. I have so many people in my life, aside from myself. Now understand, it is none but the grace of God, because the knowledge that I have today, I did not have back then. I did not know how to navigate through stress, navigate through the memory of the tragedy that I experienced. I didn't know how to compartmentalize some of those emotions and those reoccurring dreams that I was having. I didn't know how to do that. So I would just withdraw, what my circle wasn't very big, or I would just act a fool, and I had somebody in my life, throughout my life that was also dealing with a mental illness crisis. And they would always tell me they're going to kill themselves, they're going to take their lives, they're going to take their lives, they're going to take their lives. And living with that, if you've ever had anybody in your life that would constantly threaten, no matter what happened, if you guys had a disagreement, or if they went through a disappointment in life, didn't get a job, whatever, then they would threaten to take their lives. And because you love them, then you're kind of living with this. Now, during those times, of course, you don't realize that this is mental illness. This is a mental illness episode. This is something that, is hurting the people around them, because we're walking on eggshells like, oh my God, are they really going to do it? Is this really going to happen? Now, when I used to experience bouts of suicide when I was younger, I never really brought other people in, and I just felt the feeling. I felt like I couldn't survive this life. I felt like it was too hard. I felt like I couldn't heal from my grandmother's murder. I felt like God didn't love me. I was wrong. He does. But I just want people to understand that no matter what's going on around you, no matter how close people are to you, your husband, your wife, your children, your sister, your brother. We cannot afford to sacrifice our mental well-being. You understand? You are responsible for maintaining your own sanity, your own peace of mind, no matter what. You understand? No matter what. And that can seem harsh, because if it's somebody really close to you that's like threatening suicide, or somebody really close to you that has destructive behavior that is ripping your heart out, you still got to get up tomorrow. You still have to live. You understand? We have to learn to manage our mental health. We can't fix other people. We might try. We might want to give up our peace of mind for them, but we cannot. So I just want you to understand that, because I know that I'm not the only one who might have people in their life that tug on their heartstrings, or may have been that person that was tugging at the heartstrings of your family, because you didn't know how to manage your emotions. You didn't know how to manage disappointments in life. You didn't know how to manage divorce, breakup, death. You understand? And when it comes to death, you have to understand that if somebody close to you chooses to take their life, because it seems to be so much of that going on now, which is why we have to raise the vibration of the world. But if somebody close to you chooses to take their life, you can't stop them. And you still have to get up the next day. And you still have to find a way to live. You have to find a place to put that pain. And I know that we don't always know where to put it. So we can withdraw completely, which can cause even more mental problems. We can throw up a wall and a shield where we just don't deal with it and suppress everything. But I just want you to understand that nothing is a death sentence other than death itself. You understand? Anything that you're going through, any situation in life can and will get better. There is light on the other side of darkness. I say that to anybody who is dealing with something, who is dealing with sadness, depression, disappointment, humiliation, addiction from a loved one, abuse from a spouse, whatever it is you're dealing with. It is not the be all and end all of your life. You can survive it. You can get through it. You can learn from it. But you cannot control the actions of people around you, and you cannot let their actions break you. Let me say that again. You can love and hug and kiss and uplift and motivate and try to guide people down the right road. You can take people kicking and screaming and try to put them in places or take them to counselors that's going to help them. But if they don't want it and they're not ready and they choose to end their life, you cannot take on that hurt, that pain, that guilt. You have to live anyway. You understand? So I'm sorry I got so emotional. Sometimes you get tired of crying, but this is a tough subject, because the realization of what happens, this pandemic, so many people lost their lives. So many people took their lives. They didn't see the light. They didn't believe the light. They didn't believe that they could survive. They didn't believe that they could go on. But you can. You can. And just understand that your mental well-being has to come first. Understand, I don't care if it's your mother, your child, your sister, your husband, your wife, your mental well-being has to come first. If you break down and debilitate yourself and deplete yourself of all that you have nothing to give and help somebody else. So let's just try to understand that the world can throw you sucker punches. The world can throw people close to you sucker punches that will seem so debilitating that you think you will be on your knees and cannot get up, but you can get up. You can come back from it. You can come back from it. I'm tired of logging on and seeing people jumping off buildings and taking their lives. I'm tired of it. We hear about the celebrities, but they're regular everyday people killing themselves every day. They're regular everyday people making bad choices to use drugs to try to numb the pain. They're regular everyday people, allowing themselves to be in negative situations that seemingly destroy their lives. But as long as you are alive and breathing, you got a chance. But you self, you got to come first. You got to maintain your state of mind. You got to stay positive. You got to only allow certain things into your mind. You cannot take it on every brick, every burden. You cannot. I love you guys. I don't want this to be too long, but we have to learn how to maintain and manage mental illness. We have to. Okay, I'm still hesitant to use the word illness because it's not permanent. It doesn't have to be permanent. You can work through it. You can become an amazing person. All of those negative thoughts that you used to have can suddenly become positive. It doesn't have to be forever. So the hole and the despair that you think that you're in right now, just hold on. Okay, hold on. But this video is about you protecting yourself. You understand? Because if you got a father or a mother or a child that is pulling you down emotionally and you go down emotionally with them, then what? You got to protect yourself so that you can be strong for somebody else. And we have to just really take the negative stigma off mental illness, okay? We really, really do. I say it in all my books. I absolutely was suicidal. I used to continuously have suicidal thoughts. Thank God for grace and mercy that I never took my life. But there are many, many who do every day. And it's time for this world to change. I love you guys. Maintain and manage your mental health first. I love you guys.